Why imperfection makes you more respected. For most of our lives, we are taught a simple rule: be perfect. Don't make mistakes, don't show weakness. Always appear confident, capable, and in control. From school to the workplace, perfection is presented as the golden path to respect. But what if that belief is not only wrong, what if it is quietly destroying your reputation? Psychologists have discovered something strange and unexpected about human behavior. People don't always admire perfection. In fact, perfect people often make others uncomfortable. They seem distant, cold, untouchable, and sometimes untrustworthy. At the same time, people who admit small mistakes or show small flaws often become more likable, more relatable, and even more respected. This strange psychological phenomenon is known as the pratfall effect. And once you understand it, it can completely change how you communicate, lead, and build relationships. The hidden psychology of human connection. Human beings are social creatures. Our brains are constantly evaluating the people around us. We ask questions unconsciously. Is this person trustworthy? Are they safe to work with? Do they understand me? Perfection sends a surprising signal to the brain. When someone appears flawless, our minds begin to suspect something. Not necessarily dishonesty, but distance. Perfect people feel different from us, and difference creates psychological separation. But when someone reveals a small imperfection, something powerful happens. The brain suddenly relaxes. This person is human. They struggle too. And that moment of shared humanity builds connection. The famous experiment that changed everything in the 1960s, psychologist Elliot Aronson conducted a fascinating experiment. Participants listened to recordings of people answering difficult quiz questions. One contestant performed extremely well. He answered almost every question correctly. In one version of the recording, the contestant finished perfectly. In another version, something small happened at the end. After answering the questions brilliantly, the contestant accidentally spilled coffee on himself. Just a small embarrassing mistake, nothing serious. But the results shocked researchers. The perfect contestant was admired. But the contestant who spilled coffee was liked significantly more. Why? Because his small mistake made him feel human. His intelligence remained impressive, but now he was also relatable. This was the birth of what psychologists now call the pratfall effect. Why hiding mistakes backfires. Most people believe that hiding their mistakes protects their reputation. But in many situations, the opposite happens. When someone pretends they never fail, people begin to sense emotional distance. Colleagues may think they're trying too hard to look perfect. Or worse, they can't be trusted with honesty. Ironically, covering up small errors can damage credibility more than the error itself. Because trust is not built on perfection, it is built on authenticity. When people see that you acknowledge mistakes openly, they perceive something important: confidence. Not the loud, performative kind, but quiet confidence. The confidence that says, I am capable enough to admit when I am wrong. The difference between weakness and strategic vulnerability. But there is an important distinction. This principle does not mean exposing every weakness. It does not mean complaining constantly. And it certainly does not mean undermining your own competence. Psychologists call the effective approach tactical vulnerability. This means revealing small, controlled imperfections that make you relatable without damaging your credibility. For example, a leader who admits they learned something the hard way. A speaker who jokes about a small mistake. A professional who acknowledges a challenge they overcame. These moments humanize authority, and people tend to trust leaders who feel human. Why leaders who admit mistakes gain respect. The story shows that powerful leaders who acknowledge errors often gain more respect, not less. Transparency signals integrity. It communicates that someone values truth more than ego. In contrast, leaders who pretend to be flawless often lose credibility when reality inevitably exposes imperfections, because nobody believes perfection forever. The moment the illusion cracks, trust disappears. But leaders who openly admit small mistakes build something stronger. They build psychological safety. And psychological safety is one of the most powerful forces inside successful teams. The brain's trust algorithm neuroscience suggests that our brains use simple signals to judge character. One of those signals is consistency. Perfect personas create inconsistency. Because human beings know instinctively that nobody is flawless. So when someone appears perfect, the brain quietly wonders, what are they hiding? But when a person shows controlled vulnerability, the brain recognizes authenticity. The story feels believable, and believable people are trusted people. How this affects your career in professional environments: many people believe they must appear flawless. But research suggests that approachable competence is far more powerful than distant perfection. Colleagues prefer working with people who feel humor. Managers prefer employees who can admit mistakes early instead of hiding them. Clients trust professionals who communicate honestly. Small admissions of imperfection signal something valuable: accountability, and accountability builds reputation. Ironically, the people most afraid of showing imperfection often appear the least trustworthy. The balance between strength and humanity. Key to this psychological principle is balance. Too much vulnerability can reduce confidence in your competence, but too little vulnerability creates emotional distance. The ideal balance combines two signals: competence and humanity. You demonstrate skill and knowledge, but you also show that you are real. That combination creates a powerful effect. People respect you, and they feel comfortable around you. Why imperfection makes you memorable? Fear is another surprising effect. Imperfection makes people memorable. Perfect presentations blur together, perfect speeches sound rehearsed. Perfect personalities feel artificial, but small imperfections create authenticity. They make stories believable, and believable stories stick in memory. This is why many great speakers intentionally include small human moments. A short laugh, a brief personal story, an honest reflection about a mistake. These moments make audiences feel connected. The dangerous myth of perfection. The idea that perfection earns respect is deeply rooted in culture. But it may be one of the most damaging professional myths. Because perfection is impossible, the real question is not whether you will make mistakes. The real question is how you respond to them. People judge character not by the absence of failure, but by the presence of honesty. The power of controlled imperfection. Control imperfection sends three powerful signals. Authenticity. Frustrantism tells people that you value truth more than image. And that kind of authenticity is rare. In a world where everyone is trying to look perfect, the person who shows honest humanity often stands out the most. The final lesson: respect does not come from appearing flawless. It comes from demonstrating competence while remaining human. The paradox is simple. The small mistake you try hardest to hide might actually be the thing that makes people trust you. The vulnerability you fear might be the bridge that builds connection. And the imperfections you try to erase might be the very signals that prove your authenticity. So the next time you feel the urge to hide a small mistake, remember the counterintuitive truth discovered by psychology. Perfection may impress people, but humanity makes them trust you. And trust is the foundation of every lasting reputation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more psychology content. And tell me in the comments, have you ever noticed someone secretly disliking you? What was the sign? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.